Well, so here's what's going through my mind when you say that. You don't know this, John, or at least I don't think you did. A couple of weeks ago when the Eagles got eliminated, the San Francisco radio station played the start of our show for their show. And they talked over us, like you gave a fact of the day, and then we were lamenting the Eagles having been eliminated. And they were laughing. I'm not making this up, San Fran radio station. I'm guessing, James, they're not going to do that today.
Probably not, no.
Right?
If they do, hi, San Fran, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. So, Mahomes. Mahomes is Mahomes. And you know what? It was so different kind of game.
Hold on, Mahomes. If we're going to talk Mahomes out the gates, if you're talking Pat Mahomes, Tom Brady, and you're picking teams out on the playground and your team's going to be an NFL team, there's no question that you've got Mahomes as your first pick. Like, he's physically so much better than what Brady was. Like, at this point, you have to offset things. You have to override the Tom Brady accomplishments if you're talking about the greatest player to ever play. Like, it's what we're witnessing. I know it's crazy to say, hey, it's too soon, and the guy's playing. Like, don't give him all the credit in the world, man. Like, how do you beat him? It's to the point now that combination. Like, I don't doubt that they'll continue to win every year. They'll be close to winning a Super Bowl every single year that those two are together.
Well, they'll certainly be close. Is he Jordan?
Yeah.
Yes,
I think so.
He's
and
Jordan
like
and
I said, he is better than Tom Brady. He is the best of all time, and we're watching it happen.
Yeah,
that's so crazy. He's in his 20s. How old is he?
I think 27.
He's 28.
It makes me feel improper expressing that level of reverence. Yeah. But you should also be expressing that level of reverence for his coach. You know, Andy Reid, what he's doing is spectacular, but what he's able to do is certainly sharpened, is heightened by what Patrick Mahomes brings to the table. When you've got a guy who's got a photographic memory and a bazooka, a howitzer bazooka, fully automatic, strapped to his shoulder, man, it's hard to lose, even against great teams like we saw. I felt like the 49ers had the answer for a while. I felt like the 49ers seemed to be on the right track, and then it's, time and time again.
Yep.
You just time.
Yeah, Andy and Patrick together, they find a way to just pick people apart.
Yeah.
And it was so obviously we want to hear from you this morning, and good morning to you. I know it's a quick turnaround from the end of the game last night for everyone up at 6 a.m., but let's rock and roll here at 215-592-9494. Game only ended about 6 hours and 15 minutes ago, something like that. Look, it started on, let's be real, kind of the boring side. Although I wouldn't say non-compelling initially, because I actually didn't think it was bad offense. I thought it was great defense early. But then it really turned into, coming down the stretch, and obviously second half, and especially fourth quarter and overtime, a heck of a Super Bowl. I mean, I don't know where this one will rank, but I will say I'll remember this one for a long time.
Yeah.
Because this one,
overtimes,
all of that stuff, all of it. And the Mahomes factor is massive. I mean, we'll probably put a Twitter poll together today about, where he stands in pro football history. Maybe even a question like, is he the great? I remember when Jordan won his third, he beat the Suns. And even though Bill Russell had won 11 rings, I remember when Jordan won his third, the talk in America was Michael Jordan's the best basketball player of all time. And
really?
So,
That's
I remember it vividly. It was 1993, and I remember. So, look, we'll get into that.
When's that conversation going to start for Pat? It already.
It's already started.
It needs to start if it hasn't. Yeah. The guy is a miracle.
All right, let me tell you something that was really big that's not going to get as much discussion today as things like the Mahomes thing and the Reid thing, but man, oh man, was it massive and can't be forgotten. The 49ers missed an extra point.
Huge.
I mean, the guy just kicked a low kick and, some Chiefs player whacked it. And, massive. Massive, guys. So.
Disgusting.
Thinking about that. It was just unbelievable. And that Bucker guy, or Buckner, whatever the hell his name is, until Mahomes really asserted himself at the end, I thought there was a chance. Is it Bucker? Bucker. I thought there was a chance he was going to be the MVP. I really did.
No,
if he got if
Butker was going to be the MVP of the Super Bowl.
If he had a fifth field goal to win it, then I thought he had a legitimate chance because, Mahomes until the end had only had, one TD drive, I think? Something like that. So, but look, in the end, Mahomes grabbed control of this thing. Now, let's talk about Shanahan and the decision to take the ball. John, a highly criticized decision, which I will tell you, I'll tell you right out of the gate, I see both sides of it, but I'm cool with Shanahan doing what he did. A lot of people in America are crushing him because the theory is, well, if you take the ball and you kick that field goal, you don't go for it on fourth down when you have it at first, when obviously if you know what the other team does, then you go for it on fourth down, a la what KC did with Andy Reid going for it in any other scenario that could have existed. But here's the thing. There is certainly a legitimate chance that San Fran would go down and score a touchdown, KC would go down and score a touchdown, and then you want the third possession where you can go win the game outright with a field goal. See, that was and Shanahan talked after the game that they had examined
the
this.
Thinking.
Yeah, that's the
that
thinking.
makes a difference.
Yeah, well,
that right there. You have to take it past the initial inspection.
But does that override? But no, it matters.
Yes.
It certainly
yes,
matters.
All the little things
Seltzer,
matter.
does that override? I don't know if I need to go for it on fourth down because clearly it didn't work out for him.
No, I think it was still a mistake. I
think he should have deferred?
I get what he's saying,
Yeah.
but absolutely should have deferred. The only argument that makes legitimate sense to me is my defense was really tired and I knew it. That's the only
third possession argument is an argument.
Yeah, but
let's remember this rule came in
when you're facing
because
Mahomes,
of that type of scenario.
When you're facing Mahomes, though, you can't count on that. You can't count on we're going to get it back a third time.
Say it again, John.
Why don't you combine reasons? The strategy as well as that their defense is tired and you can take advantage right now if you put your offense out there.
Well, there's that too.
I think they did that in part. And in part, this strategy is old school. I had to stop and think, hold on, if they score a touchdown, is the game over? Okay, no, it's not. Both teams have a chance now to actually take the ball.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, if they had scored a touchdown, back then, of course you take the ball. Because had you scored a touchdown when you take the ball, the game's over.
Right.
But that decision changes now that if you score a touchdown, the other team still gets the ball.
Well, the irony,
I had to think about it in the moment, but it does go deeper.
It does.
And look, I expect Kyle Shanahan and his group of brainiacs examined this to the nth degree.
Could have gone either way.
Yes.
I mean, and look, and the irony
did
is
what they thought was right. Of course, it's to win the Super Bowl.
Remember, the rule change came from a KC game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it came from the KC Buffalo game,
KC.
in 2021 in that divisional round, and hence the new rule, and hence the way it went. But look, it's amazing to see Kansas City win again. Of course, there's also and I'm curious to what extent you think about this today at 215-592-9494 and thought about this late last night, the reality that from an Eagles perspective, Kansas City again defeated a team that had a 10-point lead in it in a Super Bowl against it. I mean, so, one of the things, look, guys, don't get me wrong, I'm still beyond ticked about last year's Super Bowl and all the elements of it. But the one thing I will say that I said then, I said in the summer, I said in the fall when it would come up, and I'll say till the day I die, I don't think we as a fan base put proper credence last year into the concept of Michael Jordan beating the Eagles. Like, it's not just, the Eagles, like, take the Jonathan Gannon thing. I mean, this is what Mahomes does. He beats you. He scores. That's what he does. I mean, it's just like everybody that came crashing down on Jonathan Gannon, it's like, well, I mean, which is more prevalent? Jonathan Gannon stinks or Patrick Mahomes is great? And I'll tell you the answer. The more prevalent answer is Patrick Mahomes is great. John, what do you make of that? I mean, from an Eagles perspective as an Eagles fan and as someone who bled for the Eagles, Mahomes and Reid again came back from 10 down. Mm-hmm. Does that make you in any way re-examine Super Bowl 57 in any way? Like, were we too focused on Gannon, flag, field, fumble, and not enough Mahomes?
We had control. I don't want.
So did San Francisco.
I don't
San Fran
want
had
to
control.
credit
the same
Mahomes
thing.
More than our own purpose, our own agency. We should have won the game. We could have won the game. You grab it and you take it.
You see the motion play?
No, you
see the motion was the same
exact play.
Same play.
Well, same concept. The orbit motion.
Yeah, confuses the defensive back.
Beating a defense who's sort of lapsing. beating a defense who thinks they know what's coming next, and then it's the two plays that start out the same and end up looking different to the next degree, and Andy's just capitalizing on all these little advantageous moments. That's what the greats do. He continues to prove that he is one of the greatest of all time, maybe the greatest. Maybe that's another conversation we need to have. When does he start becoming the greatest? And we get to watch him.
Yeah, look, there's so much to this. We want to hear from you today at 215-592-9494. So the game in and of itself, all the intricacies, everything that stood out to you, what happened, what could have happened, what didn't happen, what did happen. But then also from an Eagles perspective, things like Super Bowl from last year, things like the motion that Kansas City does that the Eagles went through this year, and how, that element of watching offense play that way by both teams, by the way.
And how about, by both teams being creative, both teams doing things that we did not see our team do this year. And what about the fact that Brock Purdy, I don't care what you say, Brock Purdy is a really, really good NFL quarterback.
I agree.
I heard people detracting from Purdy because of yesterday's performance.
Nah, he was fine.
Brock Purdy was outstanding.
Yeah.
He continues to be outstanding. He is an outstanding quarterback. And we have to deal with that.
I know.
We have to deal with that 49ers team. They're not going anywhere.
And now the Eagles will probably deal with it without Hassan Reddick moving forward. So, look, we'll get into all of that. And your phone calls at 215-592-9494. What most stood out to you from the Super Bowl? Your reaction to Mahomes and Reid getting Super Bowl III. The Eagles' perspective on the whole deal, the satisfaction of seeing San Francisco suffer. There is a satisfying element to that. All of it. Your phone calls, 215-592-9494.